And now we begin with the information as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham extremists meet with Syrian Prime Minister Mohammad Ghazi al-Yalili to agree on transition terms as chaos grips Damascus and other Syrian provinces. The Prime Minister assured in statements to Arab media that almost the entire executive cabinet is in Damascus and that they aspire to a transitional with social, economic and political guarantees. However, while these talks are taking place in a hotel in the capital, extremist militants sacked the government palace, stormed the Iranian embassy and freed several terrorists from the prison of Sednaya. On the other side of the country, the troops of the Israeli occupier stormed the Golan Heights with a land intervention, and Syrian pro-Kurdish groups fight fierce battles against Syrian pro-Turkish groups. In this context, the Prime Minister spoke about the need to preserve public institutions.
أيها السوريون الغاليين على قلبي.
Dear Syrians, who are dear to my heart, and who I am to you, and you are to me, I am at home. I did not leave it, because I belong to this country, and I do not know any other country other than my homeland. In these times when people feel anxiety and fear, although they are all keen in this country and its institutions and facilities, I am keen on the public facilities of the state, which does not belong to me and does not belong to anyone else, but belongs to all Syrians. Therefore, we extend our hand to all Syrians who are keen on the facilities in this country, and that is to preserve its facilities. I urge all citizens not to touch any public property, because in the end, it is their property and I am at home. I did not leave it, and I do not intend to leave it, except in a peaceful way, to ensure the continuation of the work of public institutions and facilities of the state, and to spread security and reassurance to the citizens, that everyone will think rationally, and to think about their homeland and their country. We extend our hand even to the opponents who extended their hand and ensure that they did not touch anyone belonging to the Syrian homeland. I have always worked day and night in the private sector, in the public sector, and in the government. And in front of my eyes, I see the interest of this country, and the interest of this country, and we believe in Syria, for all Syrians, and that it is the country of all its people, and that this country can live in peace.
In this context, terrorist groups robbed and looted the Central Bank of Syria in Damascus, and local sources assured that the opposition groups transferred part of the money from the central bank to unknown destinations, while another sum was extracted in cash on bags. At the same time, the Iranian embassy in Damascus was also vandalized, with diplomats fleeing the building to protect their lives. And now let's recap what has happened in the last hours. Rebel terrorist forces have seized detention centers, public media, and the government palace in Damascus. These groups shared images of their advances towards the city, where desolated provinces such as Deir ez-Zor could be appreciated. On the other hand, despite the agreement between the leaders of the violent revolt and the Syrian government to carry out an organized transition, in the last hours, the release of prisoners from the Sednaya prison has been confirmed. The center hosted serving their sentences several terrorists captured in the middle of the war. The extremists have also seized Damascus airport and, as in Libya, celebrated their entry into the government palace with gunfire. And this is what is known so far about Israel's advance into southern Syria. According to local media, the Israeli forces have entered the border areas in Quneitra, and artillery shots have been fired against Syrian territory. Also, according to reports provided by military sources, the occupying army crossed the border fence in the Golan Heights this morning to take control of new positions in the area, as it is revealed that these movements were part of the preparations for the fall of the government of Bashar al-Assad. And while this is going on in the United States, the White House Security Council assured that President Joe Biden is closely following the events in Syria after terrorist groups backed by the U.S. administration, Israel, and other governments took over the capital of the Arab country. The agency detailed that the U.S. president will be in permanent contact with his allies in the Middle East. This comes after terrorist groups launched a military offensive 11 days ago that led to the overthrow of the Syrian government. It should be noted that U.S. presence in Syria, under the pretext of fighting terrorism, has focused on strengthening it, as well as multiple geopolitical objectives, including military bases strategically located around Syria's important oil and gas resources, and the containment of Iranian influence, the protection of Israeli interests, and the counterbalancing of growing influence from Russia and China in the region.